And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today we're talking about how to develop power in one's life. I've spoken about this before in terms of this life truly is only about achieving power. But it's a good thing, okay? And we've got to understand how this is relating to achieving one's potential. You have massive amounts of potential. That potential has to do with power. If you have no power, you're not using your potential. If you've got massive amounts of power, you're tapping into your potential. The definition of power is the ability to do. And as a man of high value, you want to have the ability to do. You want to make sure that everything that you do works, because then you are becoming a man of truth. Truth, according to our definition, is that which works in the long run and in the big scheme of things. Meaning, if you have power, you will have the ability to do or to work in the long run and in the big scheme of things. That's our job, to get the massive amounts of levels of power as possible, to get as much of it as possible, because then we are fulfilling our potential. Does that make sense? So, if we understand this principle, there's two aspects to it. It's femininity and masculinity. Masculinity is to take upon oneself responsibility. Femininity is to give away your responsibility and give away your power, because that will allow it's different for women and men. Okay, now we're talking about men. I'm not going to talk about in terms of women because it becomes a little bit confusing. It's just a little bit more advanced. For men, however, it's very simple. You want to get as much power as possible because that's going to help you to because that's what's masculine. If you're feminine as a man, you're not trying to get power. If you're masculine as a man, you want as much power as possible. But you understand how power works together with karma. It's not about getting as much power as possible quickly and then ruin everyone's lives. You want to make sure that this power lasts. It's not about get rich quick. It's about get rich for sure. It's not about get power quick, like for example becoming the president or prime minister of a country, or becoming a multimillionaire quickly, because if you do that too quickly without establishing the foundation of character, then that power will be taken away. You will be stripped of that power eventually. And it's the exact same thing with riches. It's the exact same thing with power. If you try to get power too quickly, it's going to be stripped of you eventually. It's the same thing if you have power in your relationship, for example. If you as a man, you're bigger, stronger than your women or than your woman, if you use that power by force, okay, and that's your only form of power, then you're going to be stripped of that power eventually when you lose those women, or when they can't handle the violence and the torture and the basically all of the problems that you come with. And you got to understand that the physical is just as bad as the emotional. Breaking up with the woman is kind of like physically beating her because of the emotions that are caused on her. You don't know that because you don't have as intense emotions as she does, right? I'm explaining to you power and how it is not to be derived too quickly without character. It is to be built upon step by step over time until you have exponential power, because people give it to you voluntarily. They want you to have power because every time they give you power, karma allows it, karma is sending them good things back. Because you want good things to happen to everyone around you. The more good things happen to everyone around you, the better things for you. It's like you have the Midas touch. You touch something and then it becomes gold. right? That's what we want in these days, right? You want everything that is around you in your environment to be optimally functioning and working. And if it is not, that's a problem. So now that we understand power, we've got to understand the aspect of responsibility with power. Okay, you've heard that quote before, Spider-Man, where basically it says, to those who are given great power comes great responsibility, something like that, paraphrasing. But it basically means when you are, let's talk about real quick, and it has everything to do with this. Let's talk about asset creation and becoming rich according to the definitions of Robert Kiyosaki. He talks about assets and liabilities. How do you become rich? I'm giving you the secret right now. If you want to become rich, you only have to understand the difference between assets and liabilities. That's it. You want to get rich for sure, understand the difference between assets and liabilities. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. Is something that you own that puts money in your pocket. That's an asset. A liability is something that you own, but it takes money out of your pocket. That's why an apartment or a house can be an asset or a liability. If you own it, but it takes money out of your pocket every month, that's a liability. But if you own it and it puts money inside your pocket every single freaking month, that's an asset. Let's bring that back to power and responsibility. If you are feminine, what you are going to do is to own liabilities. It is basically you'll take all of the problems in the world and you're going to say it is not my fault. You're going to say I don't own this, but it's yours. You're going to say she was the one who broke up with me, right? Or my parents did this to me when I was a child, or Lebanon got bombed, or there's division in America right now. All of these things are not my fault. I don't own it. So basically, they're liabilities for you then, because they're taking money out of your pocket. And I'm not talking about money out of your pocket. I'm talking about power out of your pocket. The more you look at things around the world as liabilities, as you don't own them because it has nothing to do with you, that's a problem. Because it has everything to do with you, because you are alive on this planet, on this earth at this time, and things are happening around you. If you are saying it's not my fault, and you begin to say it's his fault, or it's her fault, or it's their fault, we've got a problem. Because what happens when you give the blame to someone else? What happens? You take away the power you have to change the situation. Be the change you want to see in the world. Meaning, if you blame other people for what they do wrong, or for what's happening, or for the cause and effect that they are responsible for, really, you are giving away your power. You're making those things liabilities. That's a bad idea if you want to develop power in your life over time. Does that make sense? You have power to change things. You have power to change the world. I can promise you that. You just have not tapped into your potential yet. You have massive amounts of potential, but you're not doing anything about it. You are blaming other people. This could be in terms of your finances. You're blaming other people. Why don't you have $100,000 or 10 Bitcoin? Whose fault is it? Is it that excuse? Or is it this excuse? Or is it this excuse? Or is it their fault? Or his fault? Or that fault? Is it because the government steals 60% of your salary every single month? Is it their fault? Because if you say that it's anyone else's fault, you're now making all of those people and all of those events And all of those excuses, things that take away your power. Very bad idea if you want to develop power over time. Because you can't get rich if you basically have your power, you receive a little power, and then it's funneled out as a liability. You want to get power and then invest that power into assets. And assets are basically things that give you more power, right? So the number one thing that you need to learn is what Jocko Willink says, extreme ownership. We're taking it to the next level in your life right now and realizing that you are responsible. Okay? Repeat after me. I am responsible. I am responsible for everything that happens in the entire world. I'm taking this to the nth degree because you believe, no, I'm just responsible for what's happening in my life. Like, are you kidding me? I'm supposed to take upon myself the responsibility of everything that happens in the world? You want power? Let's get it. The way to get power is to realize that you kind of have to become like Jesus. Be a Jesus for once and take all of the blame. That is the design of our creation as men. The moment you are willing to be a Jesus, okay, and I'm just using it as an example, to take all of the blame for everything that happens, everything that has happened, and everything that will happen in the future, you are developing power, the ability to do. You are giving yourself your permission to tap into your full potential. This is the key to getting fired up outside your brain for the rest of your life. Temporarily right now, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, no, I can't do that. No, this does not jive well with my emotions. But I'll tell you, it's all your fault. And the moment you accept that, your life will change, and it will change fast. It's not my fault that I lost my job. It's not my fault that it's difficult to get a job. It's Coronas. It's stopping me from getting one. No one's hiring. All right. It's my fault that libertarians and libertarianism, voluntarism, is not the rule of government throughout all the planet. Throughout all the world, in every country. My fault. I haven't educated people properly about it yet. I'll get there. Still my fault. It's my fault that monogamy is the rule rather than the exception. It's my fault that it's not 3 girls in love that's the mainstream. I know that which works. But it's not happened yet. Whose fault is it? It's my fault. What happens when you do that? What happens? It's my fault that there's war in the world. It's my fault that there's beggars on the street. It's my fault that women are being raped, tortured, and killed. It's my fault that children in Africa are dying from starvation. People are focusing on this freaking coronas thing when people are dying by the day in Africa. My fault. If you understand this principle, man, whoa, what's going to happen to you? What's going to happen to you? Let's understand winning and losing. Let's understand that principle. If you are winning, everything's wonderful, right? And you're fired up and you're excited because I'm winning and my self-confidence is increasing. My self-worth is increasing every time I win. That's why it's so important for me to win every single day. I gotta win. It's a masculine trait. We want that, right? Every time we win, we get fired up. I want to win more. This is a good feeling. This is a good emotion. This is me. I'm a winner, right? But then we forget that 99.9% of the time in our lives, we're going to lose. Losing, failure, rejection. That's our purpose in life. For us to lose all of the time so that we can win. It's a masculine principle. We want to win. And that's why we're willing to go through the losses in order to get to the win. But if you are still feminine, what's going to happen? You're going to be afraid of rejection. You're going to be an academic, right? You're going to be a socialist that wants everyone to give them free stuff. You're going to want to get that $600 unemployment check. But just wait a little bit, Joseph. I just want my $600 weekly check from the government. It's not the time to get a job right now. Okay? Because I'm getting free stuff. Right? Are you kidding me? You want to remain in your femininity forever? Because that's what you're choosing. When you're saying, I don't want to be rejected. I don't want to go out there and apply for jobs. I don't want to go out there and sell my product or service in my business. I don't want to do that. Or, even better, I just want to do music and arts and theater. Because I'm accepted by my emotions when I do that. You're just afraid of masculinity, of losing, right? When you understand that there is no such thing as losing, there is no such thing as losing, except for giving up, except for staying who you are in your feminine nature, who you've always been. You started out as feminine. Are you going to die feminine? Or are you going to die masculine? Are you going to die as a warrior? Someone who fought. Someone who died because they were fighting out there. They went to war. And I'm talking about going to war against every single injustice, every single thing that is bad on the planet. There's a reason why God doesn't come in and intervene. Because He wants us to get this principle. He wants us to understand power and understand our potential. We cannot reach our potential if He comes and intervenes with all the problems. He wants us to go from ignorance to complete understanding of everything that's going on. And the only way to do that is if we take all of the blame. If you accept that losing is not a loss, it is a win, you're going to be winning all of the time. What's the best way for you to gain power? It is to get a win and then fuel it into assets, meaning to get more wins. You get a win and then you invest it to get more wins. You get a win and then you invest it to get more wins. You get a loss and that loss is a win. You invest it to become a win. Do you understand what I'm saying here? You're given power every single day that you wake up. God is granting you power to do. And then you choose now to not do anything. You choose to watch Netflix. You choose to stay on YouTube all day. Or even worse, you choose to watch porn with PMO multiple times a day, or week, or month, or year. What are you doing? You're taking the power God has given you and you're funneling it away and remaining in your femininity, getting real losses. The moment you become masculine and you accept every win as a win to invest into more wins, and every loss to invest into more wins, because every loss is learning. You either win or you learn. There is no losing. And if you make every single thing in your life a win, you are increasing your power at an ever increasing rate. An exponential power, exponential growth curve that is going to give you intense amounts of power in your life. You're becoming more masculine, man. One small step at a time. It's awesome. Love it. Okay, for all of those you guys who are like, man, I can't take the blame for everything. I'm like, bro, come on. Lebanon, I can't take the blame for that. Are you kidding me? Okay, let me help you understand that principle. Femininity blames. Someone else did this. I'm not saying that you should go to the courts and say I was the one who did it. Obviously. Duh. Femininity blames. Masculinity takes responsibility. Okay? Which means all of the things that I explained earlier, all of the difficult things in life that are happening, all of the crap that's going around in the world today, can you do something about it right now? Okay? The answer is probably no. Is it your responsibility to tap into your full potential so that you can, in the future, do a lot to prevent those things from happening? Absolutely. We overestimate what we can do in the short term, but we underestimate what we can do in the long term. We overestimate what we can do in the short term. We massively underestimate what we can do in the long term. And you've got to get that right in your mind. We can create heaven on earth, but it is our responsibility. Yours, mine. Do you understand what I mean? But I'm not responsible for you taking responsibility. I don't care if you do. The less you take responsibility, the more power I get. Because we're competing. You got to understand that. This world is about who gets the most power and who retains the most power eternally. It's not about this life only. This life is just a blip on our eternal specter. It's about who gains power the fastest, sustainably, and keeps it over time. And the less you take responsibility, the more there is to go around for those who do take responsibility. There is so much room at the top, guys. There is so few leaders. How do you know that? How do we know that there's so few leaders? It's easy to become a leader these days. Easy. Why? Because there's so much blame to go around and no one is saying, I want this responsibility. I will fix this. I will take care of this. Do you understand what's happening when you do that? Suddenly you've got purpose. Suddenly you've got a drive. Suddenly you have a reason to live and to do something about what's going on in the world. Perfect love casteth out all fear, right? When you come from this standpoint of responsibility, it's my fault, I will take care of it, I will solve this problem, your love for other people is increasing. People don't care how much you know, they care about how much you care. Right? They want to know how much you care about them. The more you take responsibility for them in your life, the more they know they can come back to you for more help in the future. And then it's up to you, and this is the key phrase in this video, to prioritize. You, as a man, are blessed and cursed with what's the term? English. You are blessed with the ability to not care as a man, but you're also cursed with it. And I'll tell you the difference. When you're feminine, but you're also somewhat masculine, you're not gonna care. But you're gonna care about your emotions. I want this. I was speaking to a friend of mine yesterday who was telling me he has such a hard time to put away the girls. And I told him, like, have you watched my video with casual sex for women is like Russian roulette for them? Have you watched it? Do you understand that principle? And he's like, I don't care. It's for me. And then you could see immediately how feminine that is. A man who understands what casual sexual relationships do to women, and he still is considering it because of his femininity, which is his now emotions, that he wants to have sex. He wants to be with the woman. Right? But if you understand masculinity and responsibility, and you are responsible for screwing over her life, and screwing over her future family, her future kids, her future grandkids, her future great-grandchildren, you are the one who screwed her up by taking her into your life, having sex with her, and then dumping her ass. Right? In your terms. That's not masculine. Taking full responsibility means that you know, like the doctors say, do no harm. Right? That's the number one rule of doctors. First, do no harm. That's why I tell you guys to be voluntary celibate and practice semen retention right now. Immediately. Don't screw any more women up. Delete the Tinder app now. Because you're being feminine. You're thinking only about the short term, and you are massively getting long-term losses. It's all about getting started now and taking action now in terms of responsibility and moving forward in your life. What was the last thing I was going to say? I think that's it. I hope that you understand these principles and understand that it's all about getting power exponentially over time, sustaining it. This is what I'm going to end with. What is the prioritization, right? You can't care about everything that happens, but we've got to develop systems so that you are caring for the most important thing that needs to happen right now in order for us to create heaven on earth eventually. Do you understand what I mean? Because there's so many problems in the world, and they're all your problems, right? I'm responsible. Then you've got to look at what's the fastest way that we can solve all of the world's problems. Because then that becomes my responsibility. What's the fastest way that I can have the power to do anything about these problems? That's when you begin to realize, oh yeah, that's right. I need cash. I need money. You can't do much without money in this world. Why? Because you're only one person. You only have 24 hours a day. You can't solve this beggar's problem and this beggar's problem and this beggar's problem because you're working time for money, right? You're exchanging time for money by going to a job. How are you going to tackle all of the world's problems right now? You can't. And that's okay because you've been blessed with the ability to not care. It's a curse when you don't care at all. But it's a blessing when you have the ability to sift out that which cannot be prioritized right now. Right now, I need to focus. I need to do one thing at a time, and that one thing is to make as much money as possible. Because the moment I have money, I can start businesses. The moment I can start businesses, I can begin to employ people because people are giving me more money than I'm wasting. Right? Or that I'm spending, that I'm investing. More money in, the profit motive, fantastic, because then you can invest more into your businesses so that you can hire more people, so that you can solve more problems. You want to get to the point where you are hiring 10,000, 100,000, 1 million people who are working for you and with you in order to solve all of the problems of the world. That is the fastest way that we can solve the world problems. It's not just about you working with one person at a time. I'm changing the world. Helping one person. Now that's great. You're a good person if you're doing that. But you're not being masculine. Masculinity is to go out there and serve the masses. And understand how to solve their problems exponentially so that we create heaven on earth. That's where it's at. That's what you need to do. Prioritize. And number one is to get to No financial advice, 10 Bitcoin. Get yourself 10 Bitcoin ASAP to prevent yourself from losing all of your power in the next financial collapse, and develop your skills, develop your leadership abilities, develop your power. Make every single loss in your life a win, and make every win an exponential win, and you will become a winner. Let me answer the questions if there are any. Let's see. Powerful. Taking notes. Awesome. I always look forward to your weekly streams, man. I'm on this journey with NoFap. It's been amazing the push I have now. Started learning code for web development. The benefits have soared. Bro, web development? Right now? In the cryptocurrency thing going on? Bro, you need to sign up on Ivan.ONTRACC's classes immediately. The biggest online academy in the world for cryptocurrency and blockchain. Get on it. Web development is a waste of time right now. If you're interested in coding and programming. Can manufactured adversity be used to gain power? Path of most resistance, like you say, take the full burden. Yes, but like manufacture the right thing. Like manufacture, like, which adversity do you want? You want the money adversity first, right? That's the problem you need to solve first. Because if you can't, remember Jim Rohn says, don't set the goal of $1 million for the $1 million. Set the goal of $1 million so that you can, for who you become in the process. That's what we're striving to establish. We need to establish your power, so you need to set some financial goals so that you can overcome rejection. That's the key. The more rejection you overcome, the faster you'll grow. But you need to develop rejection not only by being 6 hours in the gym. Oh, I'm overcoming rejection. Every single day I'm improving and it's going to 150 kilos. Who cares? You're not solving the world's problems by thinking about your freaking outward appearance. Are you? No, you're not. Now, that might help in attracting the 3 girls in love, or it might help in the future when you have to go on TV and you're in front of the TV and you're on YouTube and you're an influencer and you want other people to listen to you. Yeah, that's going to help, right? But right now, you need money. Right now, you need to work 80 hours a week and then build your business on the side and be rejected by life. Be rejected by your bosses. Be rejected by customers. Get rejection, but get rejection in the right area of life. That's what I want to share with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe, you like these videos, and share them. Oh my gosh, do you know how many billions of people need to hear this stuff? A lot. Start sharing. Come on. Care. Prioritize. Because it's very simple to put that share button and put it on Facebook and your social media. I will talk to you again.